I think we're live. I'm assuming we're live. Hey everyone, I am Bethany, the head of content here at Mogul, or AKA a nasty woman. It sounds like that's what it should mean. So today we are here to talk about what I just said, nasty woman. We all heard on the good old last debate, which I'm sure you all watched, how during when Clinton was speaking about entitlement reform, Trump decided to interrupt and lean into the hot mic like he'd had a good old glass of whiskey and call her a nasty woman. It was a very random, awkward moment, even though, yes, she was kind of giving him a slight jab, you know, that he would kind of try to avoid paying his taxes. So, but still, it was like really a weird decision. So we wanted to talk to some cool millennial men just to kind of get their opinion on what nasty woman really means. Like, what is the word nasty? What does that even make y'all think of?
I think, like, sorry, should I go first? I'm sorry. So I think nasty really means, like, derogatory, mean words, just like, oh, she's vile. The image of, like, a witch comes up in your mind.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's kind of like the devil horn thing you did in the beginning.
The fangs coming out kind of thing?
Yeah, I get that vibe when you say nasty. It's like, oh, man.
Yeah, yeah. What does that word make you think of?
To me, nasty is almost like, it's like sensory. It's like a smell, which is nasty, or it's like something really gross, something really disgusting. It's really derogatory.
Yeah, it was such a weird word choice. I don't know, very strange. So what was your opinion in that moment when he decided to interrupt her and instead of saying wrong, like he usually does, when he said those comments, what was your initial reaction as a man?
It's like initially just generally, I thought she's trying to make a point, and his first response is to just insult her. And as a man, I feel like it's bad because it kind of shows that he only looks at her one-dimensional type of way. Mm-hmm. Oh, she says something mean, or she's proving a point or offering an argument. She must just be a bad woman and a nasty woman, as he says it. I think it's just bad.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, I thought bringing it into womanhood, using the word nasty woman in particular is a little bit sexist. It's really strange to say. It's him maybe losing his temper like normal. I can't say I'm surprised because it is Donald Trump, who is known for saying the most crazy things. So this was just like, it was almost like, okay, there he's at it again with his ridiculous comments.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've seen like how the internet has responded yesterday to being called a nasty woman and how all women are like, yes, I'm a nasty woman too. So do you feel like the whole definition of nasty has changed based on yesterday? Like now if like if a woman's called nasty, it's like almost like a compliment, being like, thanks, I am nasty.
I think so. I mean, I've seen a lot of people just own up to it. It's like, it's a good thing to do. Take something that's supposed to be negative and kind of own it. It's like if being nasty is, you know, providing arguments, being points, being independent, it's like, yeah, why not? A friend of mine, she's a writer over advice. Right during the middle of the debate, she posted on Facebook, I'm a nasty woman. And then a whole bunch of her friends started doing that too. And I thought it was really nice. Yeah. It was really interesting. Yeah. Kind of like owning up to it, like trying to stand up against that negative mindset Trump is instilling.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you?
Yeah, I think the reaction is one of the internet is one of the most fascinating parts of this whole remark. Like, shirts are selling off of Etsy, like flying off of like people who have developed, you know, I'm a nasty woman shirts, you know, merchandise. Twitter has exploded with it. So it's interesting that people are responding so positively to the comment and turning something so negative into something so positive. I think Clinton gets a lot of criticism for displaying qualities that, she has maybe a dominant personality, or she can be very strong. She was being calling Donald Trump out a lot on the debate for sure, kind of as he's normally doing in the last two debates. And if, displaying qualities that are traditionally male, whatever that means, makes her nasty, then I think nasty should be a compliment. Yeah. And I think the reaction's been amazing.
Yeah, I think it's cool. It sounds like it should be like a TV show or something about nasty woman. And then his would be like locker room talk, like too.
Nasty woman and bad hombres.
Yeah, and bad hombres for sure. Oh my gosh.
That lasts a couple of
seasons. Well, let's kind of jump. This is a good segue into actually something we talked about 2 days ago on Facebook Live was locker room talk. And we got one man's perspective, but I would love to hear what's your opinion on that? I know we talked briefly about that, but locker room talk. I mean, when you saw that he was saying, blaming, and even his wife Melania was blaming, that the awful talk from Access Hollywood was just boy talk or boys club talk. Like, how did that make you all feel as men?
Well, for me, it's like locker room talk could just be like anything you talk to your friends with in like a private moment. You're not worried about anyone listening in.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he talks about that kinds of things when he doesn't think anyone's listening in, and he considers that to be locker room talk, is kind of really bad.
Mm-hmm.
I would never say stuff like that, regardless who's listening. And yeah, that was really negative.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Like, it's in the moments when you're in the locker room or you think you're have total privacy that you're going to say your most inner true thoughts. So I think what he said in that tape was the truth as much as you're going to get it, much more honest than when you're at a press conference or something with the whole world watching and you have, a script in front of you that you have to read off. So I think it's horrifying.
Yeah, that he would say that into a
horrifying.
Mic, it's like
to try to come up with any defense for that is horrifying.
You can't really rationalize that. Oh yeah, it's just locker room talk. That makes it better.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Yeah. Well, it was funny. I wrote a post on Mogul recently about how I've witnessed actually this supposed locker room talk sometimes here in New York City, and I'm sure many of you have heard some of this speech, unfortunately, in your own town. Do you guys think it's something that's more generational? Because I wrote in this article that I have witnessed men that are of maybe of a certain age, like in their 40s or above, and I've overheard this kind of language. Do you feel like this whole idea of like the boys club, smoking a cigar, shooting the, talking about grabbing a, lady for the evening and then disposing of, is something that's more generational? Or do you sense that, is that kind of a dangerous statement to say because it really just depends on case by case?
I think it's case by case. I think it's more like how you were raised and the kind of environment you grew up in that will determine that. Like growing up in New York, growing up in a pretty open, liberal mindset, also in such a busy place, never really something that you talk about. You normally talk about like work, life, things like that. Yeah. I guess if you grew up in a different way of thinking, maybe an older school of thought, maybe why older people tend to do that a lot. I don't find myself doing that. My friends don't do that either.
You mean you don't sit in locker rooms and have whiskey and smoke cigars and talk about grabbing ladies?
It's really shocking, I know.
Wow. Well, I really hope this discussion will help really change the definition of what locker room talk really means and also what nasty woman means. I kind of see nasty as a compliment now, I guess you could say. But I can't thank you all enough. Do y'all have any kind of concluding statements to any boys out there that might be thinking of behaving like Trump in the locker room?
Don't do that. Do anything else properly. But yeah. I think
Cool.
it sums it up.
Well, we would love to hear your opinion on what nasty woman means to you, if the definition has really changed overnight based on now Hillary Clinton being called one. So there is in the Facebook post, there's a link that you can click that will lead to a discussion. All you have to do to add a comment or a question is to go ahead and click on the link, create a Mogul profile, and post a comment. So we will see you on the platform, and we'll have many more discussions like this. We will see you soon. Thank you for joining. Bye.
Awesome.
Bye. Thanks.
See ya.
Yeah.
You done?
Cool. I'll keep moving in case we have still left.